Hey everyone! Okay, so we are on the next episode of Marie Kondo's show, and it is the Madison family. Erin and Sunita, I believe is how you pronounce her name. So this was a really good one if you struggle with letting go of items because of memories, especially with kids or family members from your past. Also, if you get really attached to things because you think they can continue to be used, so why are you letting go of them? This was really not as powerful as other episodes, but you got to see the mental block that continues to happen when we get stuck. Hi, Jylan! When we get stuck when we're decluttering. So let's get into it. So the Madison family have 2 kids, and they want to have their 3rd kid. And they're talking about how they need to declutter their lives in order to be able to bring a 3rd kid into the mix. Because as we know, more people into a home brings more things, whether it's a child or any other family member or a roommate or anything. So the husband says if we have an empty space, it gets filled up quickly. And I know you guys have heard me say, when there's an empty counter or something, how easily our brain goes, oh, we'll just put stuff on there, fill it, put things there. And then it becomes packed on and packed on and packed on. And all of a sudden, like that empty space that we had like free, it becomes cluttered. So they talk about the clutter as being a big block in their lives. And to be honest, I imagine if they're ready to have a 3rd kid, this block is also like moving forward on having the next kid. Like we've got to take care of this before we can have more children. So with this episode from Marie Kondo, they were talking about how to overcome those obstacles that continue to like literally almost every area that the wife went through, she had mental blocks. So it was really important that you kind of see her journey, because at the end, of course, things work out. But to know that clutter is such a big block, you see it in the way she thinks. She becomes extremely defensive and very like, nope, put it away, shut that. The husband even starts to go through drawers and goes like, what is this? Those are mine. Close it up. Those are mine. Let it go. Don't go there. And it's like, don't see what's inside of me. Stop. Don't look. And so it becomes this sort of defense mechanism. But she goes, but I'm workable. I want to do this, so I'm workable. So she is recognizing I am part of the problem, but I am a work in progress. Like I've been telling you guys lately, like we're a work in progress. It's okay. We're going to have struggles. But decluttering is a process, not only physically, but mentally and emotionally. So Sonata struggles to let go of clothing because it's all clothes that she wants to have when she hits that goal weight. So she's not happy in her body, and she says, I don't want to let go of my goal weight, so I don't want to get rid of those clothes. Like if I get rid of the clothes that will fit eventually when I'm at my goal weight, then it's like I'm giving up on the goal. And I thought about this. If they want to get pregnant again, and it sounded like in the near future, she's not going to be wearing those clothes anyways. So how often we hold on to things thinking they're going to help me in motivation towards my goal, but it never does. But it might, so I'm going to keep it. And so we continue to hold on to this clutter thinking it's going to be eventually the motivator to reaching that goal. But we know she's about to have another block in her life to reaching the goal of weight loss. She's going to be hopefully getting pregnant soon. So she continues to hold on to all this clothing, and you'll see Marie says, look, I'm really short. It's hard to find clothes that look good on me and that I like. I imagine it's a similar feeling of I'm wearing things that just fit me right now. I don't love them. They don't spark joy. The things that used to fit me spark joy, but I can't wear those things. So look at what you're currently able to wear and what you actually really enjoy wearing. And Sonata really struggles with that. Like she's kind of like not happy, or Sunita, sorry. She's not happy with that. That just makes her kind of feel like, well, yeah, I'm not happy with any of it, because she's not happy with herself. So in the realm of clothing, if we're not happy with ourselves, it doesn't matter what we wear, we're not going to feel good in it. So it was important that Marie kind of shared with her that, what you do have, what you have right now, look at what does bring you some type of happiness until you get the clothing that really makes you happy. So eventually she does let go of things, but it is very hard. So Marie mentions changing the atmosphere in a room, and I have wanted to learn how to do this, because sometimes, you're in a room and you just feel like it's just stifling or just something is off. And she said, lighting a candle, doing something like the little fork vibration music thing that like creates a rhythm in the room. Those two things. Even just lighting a match and then letting the smoke kind of in the air, blowing out so the smoke is in the air, or spraying like a fragrance or an oil in the air. Those are ways to clear the space and purify the home, and I kind of liked that idea. I like candles, but I never think of it that way, as purifying the space. But she says she does it daily, so I thought that was really neat. So clothing, as I said, it was really difficult for the woman. For the husband, super easy, and again, we saw the competition. Well, of course, you're the teacher's pet. You can do it right. You know how to do this. And how easily we get into this back and forth over something that's a very personal decision. Of course, we're all going to have our own blocks and decluttering. So if you make it a competition, then it's going to lead to arguments. It's going to lead to bitterness, because you think it's about you should be equal to another person. But their journey and decluttering is their journey. Yours is yours. So we can't compare. So in the clothing, Marie reminds you, do I need this piece for my life? Do I really need this piece of clothing for my life? And Sanita is very much a penny pincher, the dreamer, and the mirror as far as the types of clutters. Penny pincher is, but there's still value in it. I don't want to get rid of it. Like, they're nice shoes. I just never wore them. I only wore them once. Eventually I'll wear them again. The dreamer is, you can think of any, well, what if this scenario happens? Then I must have, you can dream up any idea or any experience that you're going to need that item and you need to keep it. And then the mirror clutter is they see themselves in the items. And so letting go of that, even memories, letting go of that means they're letting go of a part of themselves. So again, it's so important that we have donation centers to give our items to, so we know that they're going to homes. And only the things that are not broken, holes in them, things like that, that have value, that actually really can go to a good home and be enjoyed. Because many often we're like, oh, there's a hole in this, who cares? I'll go, give it to the Goodwill. And the amount of money places like that have to spend on getting rid of items that we say, I wouldn't wear this because there's a hole, there's a rip, there's a huge stain, but someone else will wear it, but they're probably not going to wear it too. And we can go back and forth in the debate of, well, if they really need clothes, okay. But if you're giving it to a donation center, make sure it's items that you really know someone's going to wear and want to enjoy. So the interesting thing that happens in the dynamic of their communication is she says, I really wanted us to have better communication together about the process of these things. And I thought the whole point was I should be able to share how I feel and think about things. But that's a problem. When I start to do that, we start to fight more. And I think a big piece of that, if you notice, because she feels a lot of guilt getting rid of things, it's not that she's communicating how she feels about stuff. What happens is she is saying no every time. This is why we shouldn't get rid of it. And that is what's leading to the arguments. So it's not that she is really being like, hey, I have a hard time getting rid of this because of the memories. I want to work on this. I have a hard time getting rid of it because of the memories. We're not getting rid of it. But I'm part of a decluttering challenge, so I need to declutter. You see? So it becomes a fight. It becomes an issue. And Marsha, you said H&M will take any textile, any condition, and recycle it. Holes welcome. Awesome. I'll have to see if that's in Europe. I imagine it would be in Europe too. But it's important, know where you're donating your stuff and make sure it can be used before you just give it to a place. The folding method. I have read a lot of reviews. People don't all like Marie's folding method. I've been doing it for about 4 years now and love it. I like being able to see everything. But I think it's important for things like scarves or particular items that you kind of find yourself digging through all the time to find, to do them in the filing cabinet style, like the files, folding them that way. I really like it. I want to hear your opinion. What do you guys think about her filing and folding method? So I think that's something that, I saw value in them doing the folding method that way, because then all of a sudden they could see stuff. And they also talk about how to fold kids' clothes, which I think was important as well. Okay, next, let's see. if you watch the episode, there's a point where she kind of says something and she whispers it. And he goes, why are you whispering? And he goes, because I want to yell at you. Really, as a couples therapist, I was like, that's a really good idea. You do the opposite of what you want to do. I want to yell at you, so I'm going to whisper what I want to say. And it tricks your brain and also makes the other person listen. Because all of a sudden they're like, what are you doing? I thought you'd be yelling at me. So I thought that was cool, but you can tell she continues to fight the process. She struggles. Her husband doesn't know how to meet her halfway. He's confused. He's not quite sure how to help, which has been the problem the whole time, which is why they brought Marie on. I also saw it very much as a representation of the choices that they make in life. That, you know, we have this goal, we want to achieve it, we don't enjoy it, so we sort of just stop. Or we see all the reasons why it's not going to work, so we don't even try. And this is where I always like to joke, it's like the Pinterest goals, like that looks amazing, but I'm not going to take any steps towards it. Now, some things that make sense, but maybe a healthier lifestyle. Maybe it's making better choices in relationships, better boundaries. Oh, Vanessa says H&M does do that here, especially in Germany. Awesome. But if we make better choices, then we're going to reach those goals. But for this family, it was very hard to do that. It's great to have that goal if we want a decluttered home. It took them almost 40 days to achieve. And that was with 2 kids and a camera crew around, you know, and cameras and Marie coming in a few times. So imagine just all of us trying to do it on our own. It's going to take time. You have to get pushed through the uncomfortable parts. That's just part of it. Let's see, toys. They talk about toys. I'm so glad they did this because Marie wrote her book before she had kids. So sometimes I would be like, this is pre-kid, like it was clear, like you don't have kids. And now that she's got 2, I kind of like, write a new book, please, on toys. But she talks about it. You set all the toys out on the carpet. You pile them up into individual piles of, this is for this person, this is for this person, this is what we play with together. And then you prioritize. If they're like, well, I like it all, then go, what's your favorite one? Okay, what's your next favorite one? And then you kind of say, okay, here's the point where like we've now filled the box, that's enough, and the rest of these items can go. And she said also categorize them when putting away, like all toys for outside or all Legos or things like that. And I know many parents do that just for the sake of helping the kids know how to clean up. So I appreciated that. But when they pile all the toys on their guest bedroom or the bed, I was so overwhelmed myself. And the dad even jokes like to their daughter, like, happy birthday, look at all these toys. But it's also a representation of how much stuff they had as adults for themselves. They kind of were doing it to their kids too. Whether it was stuff people were giving them and they just didn't know how to let go of past things. And the wife does say that, like, it's all memories. Like, I remember this kid playing with it and now the next kid. And then if we do have a third, you remember, we're dreaming it up. If we have a third, then they're going to want to play with it naturally. So we're holding on to things with the hopes and the plans, and it becomes really challenging. There's emotional ties to all of it. If you've seen the episode, The Garage, The Garage, did they say? I don't think they said this. The garage is a mini version of the house. The garage is also a version of like what's going on with them. Like you shut the door and everything looks great, but you open up the door and it's all like blah inside. And you get to see that through the process of their relationship, the things they need to be working on. And it's really smart that they did this before having another child because it's helped their communication dynamic. It helped them problem solve better and understand each other better so that when you bring in another child or any other person into the home, you bring in stress naturally. So you need to be able to improve on how you talk about things, how you problem solve, how you handle stressful situations. If one feels pressured by the other, what to do. So I thought that was really good. Now, finally the wife changes and she goes, it's so nice because, you know, we don't need this. Like, I'm letting it go. The problem I had with this episode is you don't see the switch. You go from, I'm having a hard time, to all of a sudden she's like, I just started letting go of stuff. Yeah, yes, maybe. But I want to know more of like the documentary style of what were you thinking? Like what made you finally say, I'm holding us back or we're holding us back or whatever it is. So I missed that. I missed figuring out what was her switch, her turning point. So if you watched it and you saw it and I missed it, please tell me. Because I was like, oh, now we're like cleaning everything and everything's being thrown out. And how did we get there? Something must have occurred. And sometimes you wake up and your brain processed it through the night and sleep, and you change, but you never know. So let's see if there's anything else I want to make sure you guys noticed in it. She does say, I'm ready to let go. And her husband says a really nice thing. We do this as women. Is it something that brings you joy, or is it nostalgic? Now, the difference. Joy is something we want to keep around us, have out in display, part of our future. Nostalgia is that moment of, aw, and then we put it in a box and put it far away. Now, there are treasured items that will bring nostalgia that we'll keep, and that's the whole memories thing. Like, we can have those items. But if everything is nostalgic, then you have to kind of question, are you staying stuck in the past? Are you willing to move forward? He said, we don't take what we have for granted anymore. That's a little bit of what cluttering is, isn't it? We continue to fill things in our lives and we sort of take for granted what they are and what they're there for, what the purpose of them was originally for, and what we're using them for now. If these items were people, like we would be using them a lot, wouldn't we? They're not people. I realize that's a stretch, but if you look at it as sort of having a relationship with each item, what type of relationship is it? And do you even want to have a relationship with it? And it's also a good reflection of our relationships, how often we take each other for granted. And I have a feeling if I was to sit down with them as a couples counselor and be like, yeah, so have you guys been taking each other for granted? Do you notice when he does this? Do you notice when she does this? That they might go like, I'm not even focused on that. I'm focused on all the negatives. So when we get rid of the physical clutter, many times we can focus on the emotional and mental clutter, and then you need to work on that. You can't just go, okay, I feel better, but I'm still got something boiling inside. But they do acknowledge this helped us better understand each other. And again, I think that's extremely important when we are decluttering with a partner, that we're communicating, that we're honoring, respecting the other person's choices, but also challenging them. And then we're also taking a step back when we need to and say, okay, this is your journey, I'm on my own. So Madison family, I give it a thumbs up, not 2 thumbs up, one thumb up, because I didn't see a lot of the journey for the wife when she really creates that transition. That would have been more powerful for me. Let me know what you thought of the episode, and kind of what you think about like that clutter that's hard to let go of because of the memories attached to it and the nostalgia, and how you handle that. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully in the next day or two I'll have the next episode out.